Hi everyone. In this class we're going to be looking at style and formality, which is your difference between formal and informal writing and how to write in an academic style. So let's take a look. Okay, so let's take a look at what style and formality actually means. So by style and formality, in your exam, in order to get a high score for communicative achievement, you have to write in a formal academic register or formal academic style. So C1 Advanced is a formal academic exam. If you write in an informal way, for example, if you write like you would speak, you will automatically get a low mark for communicative achievement because your style is incorrect and your formality is incorrect. If you're not sure about the difference between style and formality, we'll take a look at that now. So let's take a look at this example first of all. I don't think a sports centre is very important because it won't make kids take up a new sport. Teens are usually fit as a fiddle anyway, so a sports centre is basically useless. And then we have another example over here. Children would not be encouraged to try a new sport if a sports centre was built. Therefore, it is not essential. What's more, teenagers are often relatively healthy and consequently would not need access to a sports centre. So having read these two examples, what I want you to do now is pause the video and read the examples again to yourself and decide which is formal and which is informal. So go ahead, pause the video now, and then when you've made your decision, play the video again and I'll show you which is which. Okay, so hopefully you've taken a look, read it to yourself, and you know which is formal or informal. So the one on the left is informal, and the one on the right is formal. And the reason for this is because of these particular words. So you have your difference between I and children. You have take up, you have try instead of take up, therefore and consequently instead of anyway. Teens instead of teenagers. So let's take a look at why the ones on the left are informal, these words here, and why the ones on the right are formal. So first of all, let's take a look at informal style. So this is our informal example again. And let's go through. So first of all, I, if you use first person, I, that automatically makes your style informal when you speak in first person. So you need to be speaking in third person, either they or one, or you need to be speaking impersonally. So instead of saying I, you can say people. People think that, rather than I think that. And that will make your writing more formal. So when you're writing your essay, don't put I, unless it specifically asks you in the question to state your opinion. Then you can write it, but it would still be better to write in my view, or a phrase like that, that again is a bit more general rather than personal. Okay, next, informal vocabulary. So kids, teens, these are things that we would say in speech. We would not write this in a formal essay. We would speak like this. So again, for this essay, do not write as if you were speaking. That's the worst thing you can do because it will end up being very informal. Phrasal verbs, try to stay away from phrasal verbs when you're writing. I know if you've taken some C1 classes, your teacher or professor has probably gone on and on and on about using phrasal verbs, how important they are at this level. And they are important, but in speaking. Phrasal verbs are mainly a characteristic that you find in speech, in informal speech. You don't often find it in writing, especially formal writing. There are a few phrasal verbs that are accepted in formal writing, and I will show you these in a different lecture later on. but generally stay away from them. Try to find a synonym for your phrasal verb if you can. Idioms as well are very informal. Again, we use these in speech, not in writing. And you need to know your difference between formal and informal linking words. So you need to be using linking words to logically order your arguments, but make sure the words you're using are formal. Anyway, we would use in speaking, or in informal writing if you're texting a friend or something, but never in formal writing. Okay, now let's take a look at formal style. So this was our example. So here we can see that we've used third person. We're being impersonal. Children would not be encouraged, rather than I think that children would not be encouraged. We also have passive form. This is a main characteristic of academic writing. You find this a lot in scientific articles and in academic articles in general. You'll find a lot of passive. So this is one thing you can use to make your writing more formal, and also just to make your writing more varied. If you write everything in active form, it gets very repetitive and robotic. If you change between active and passive, it's more formal and it's less repetitive, so you'll get a higher mark. You can see here, try, so we've replaced try out or take up was our phrasal verb with just the verb try. So again, avoid phrasal verbs if you can. Try to avoid very as well. In our informal example, we had the word very important. This is another tip I can give you for making your writing more concise. So at C1 level, you need to be able to write complex ideas in a very concise way and with fewer words as possible. So this is one way you can cut down on your words. Instead of using very and an adjective, make that adjective an extreme form, and then you won't need to use very. So here we have essential instead of very important. It also makes it more formal. And your linking words, very important, but make sure they are formal. So therefore, consequently, what's more, these are formal linking words. If I just keep putting so and, that makes it informal, and you'll get a lower mark. Okay, so that's everything for style and formality. Join me in the next lecture and the next section where we'll be looking at organization, and I'll show you your marking criteria for organization. I'll see you there.